Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and this is another video in which I'm going to be taking a look back at 2015 and the games that came out then. Now, if you watched last week, Sam, Z, and myself did our top 10 games of 2015. But it irks me that so many games missed the cut. So I'm going to be doing my numbers 11 through 20 here because I think these 10 games are great games and should be mentioned. So we're going to start with number 20 and go all the way up to number 11. Remember, I haven't played every game that came out in 2015, but I did play a lot, and these 10 need to be talked about. Number 20 is Shakespeare. Now, Shakespeare is a game from Story in which you are putting on a play. You're hiring actors, you're hiring seamstresses, you're hiring guys who are building your set, and this game has a really cool worker placement thing. You can put out more workers, but then you have to put them out after other people, and then just has ways to give these great costumes to the actors that you hire, and different actors will give you maybe special abilities. There's a lot of different things. You're not going to be able to put on a perfect production in this, but you're going to try to put on the best production. Maybe you're going to work on your set, maybe the great costumes, maybe just having good actors involved in this. And so there's a lot of good choices in it. It's a very solid Euro game where I think the theme came out very strongly. Number 19 is Inhabit the Earth. This is an evolution-style game in which you are trying to get some species that are going to go out and inhabit the Earth. You're going to control multiple species. You can control up to 6 of them in this game, and essentially you're moving them up different tracks in different continents. Perhaps I'm moving somebody up in North America. Perhaps I'm moving somebody up in Africa. But essentially I am moving them up by either evolving them, giving them more special abilities, or increasing their number, which can move them faster. It's a cool way to give things traits. There's not as much conflict in this game as there is in other games with the same kind of genre like Dominant Species, but I don't think that matters as much. This is a good, solid Richard Breese game. It's not, a lot of people aren't talking about this, but I love the theme. Number 18 is Warhammer Quest the Adventure card game. Now, Warhammer Quest Adventure card game is a cooperative game that takes the Warhammer Quest game and puts it basically in just cards. Something I didn't think would be very good, but this game phenomenally. It scales so well, all the way up to 4 players, and each player has a very distinctive, unique character with different actions as they tap these actions, essentially, and fight monsters and search for treasure. And there's a lot of different things you can do, but it really encourages cooperation. I love cooperative games that really encourage you to help the other people out. A very strong contender from Fantasy Flight and from a game that I really thought would be kind of but it turned out to be very good. Number 17 is Stockpile. Stockpile is a stock market game from a Kickstarter company which puts many Kickstarters to shame because this looked like it was completely produced. The rules were wonderful. It looked like a great game, and it is. Its stock market games turn off some people because they don't like all the heavy number manipulation. This one turns it on its head by making it very simple. You know how one of the stocks is going to move. You have some insider knowledge. So does everybody else. You're going to be putting cards out and then bidding on these cards and getting stocks of companies, watching how other people bid because they know some information that you possibly don't know. Very simple, very quick, a very solid game. I would call it a light stock market game, but there's a good punch with an excellent auction. I'm not a big fan of auctions, but this one has a good one. It just all comes together in a really well done package. Number 16 is Spectre Ops. Spectre Ops, the fact that it's in my top 20 is mind-boggling. It feels like a top 10 game. When I played it, I was so blown away with it. It is like Scotland Yard, where one person is going through a base and everyone else is trying to find him. But think more like Solid Snake, Metal Gear. He goes through and they're trying to hunt him down. He has special abilities and they're shooting at him. And so one person is hiding from everybody else. Very strong thematically, really cool special abilities, has some neat miniatures that add to the mix, and just a very tense gaming experience. Number 15 is Automania. Automania is a game about building cars, but it does so in a very solid, straightforward way. Like I always say about this game, you can build a car on the first turn. I love that about the game. You're building 3 different types of cars. You're increasing how good they get as the game goes by. You're hiring people to make your cars better, to make yourself more efficient. You have to choose whether to sell them in the one market, the North American market, for money, or in the European market for victory points. And there's this balance back and forth. You're watching what everyone else does. You're picking tiles from rows and columns and putting them in front of you. Some good customization, and it's very simple and easy to learn, but offers some good strategic choices. Love this game. Number 14 is tied for my favorite pirate game of all time. There's another one coming out in 2016 I like just as much, but this one is amazing. Rum and Bones. Rum and Bones is based on the MOBA series of games where you send tons of weaklings at your opponents and they just run up and fight, and then you have heroes that go around and do the main fighting. That's what this game does. It has beautiful miniatures. It brings the whole pirate theme to life as your guys jump from one ship to their ship, swinging on ropes, cannons shooting at each other, trying to chop down the mast, a kraken appearing out of the sea. The whole thing just looks amazing. The factions have very different feels. There's expansion factions. The whole setup is just a lot of fun. It's a great 2-player game as you go back and forth. You're going to talk in pirate accents. You're going to just have a lot of fun rolling dice and chucking them. Sometimes the game is just sheer fun, and Rum and Bones is that for me. Number 13 is Forbidden Stars. Forbidden Stars is Warhammer 40K in a box on the big, large scale. And in it you can have the Orcs or the Space Marines or the Chaos Marines or the Eldar. And you're going around, and it takes some of the concepts from an older game called StarCraft and brings them up with beautiful miniatures and a much more streamlined game where you're picking your orders and going around and fighting each other. A very cool game, one that I thought was really fun with 4, but with 2 players I think really shines, as you have this back and forth, different cards, and the way you can customize your army as the game goes by is a lot of fun. Very asymmetrical. The Orcs feel completely different than the Eldar, for example. Just a great, grandiose style game. Number 12 is The Voyages of Marco Polo. Now this Euro game, which is I think one of the best of the year, it certainly has been nominated for awards and things because Marco Polo is a game in which you are essentially going around and trading goods and building trade routes like Marco Polo did, which doesn't sound that interesting, but this game has some very neat dice allocation system where you're going to be putting dice out to let you take different actions. But what really solidifies why I like this game so much is each player has a special power, and not a small, like, you can add 1 extra die here, but what seems like game-changing special powers. Like, one person doesn't even have to roll the dice. They can set them down any way they want. That's amazing. That's obviously the best power in a game, but this person here can have 2 pieces and build trade routes with 2 different pieces rather than 1. Wait a minute, that's amazing. That's the best thing. And I love it because each of these special abilities feels like the best thing ever. And it comes out to be a solid and balanced game. Very fun game, Marco Polo. And number 11, the game that just missed the top 10, and the game everyone yells at us for not putting in, and that is Codenames. When I first played Codenames, I was blown away. This is a phenomenally good party game. It really takes the idea of passwords and brings it up. It's not necessarily a rollicking fun, everyone's shouting around the table, but more of a cerebral party game, but really fun because you have a bunch of words in front of you. You are trying to get people to guess multiple words with just 1 clue. Because if you can get them to guess maybe 1 word with 1 clue, but to get them to guess maybe school bus and computer with the same clue can be tough without having them guess other words on the table because that helps your opponent out. And there's 1 word that if you guess it, then you automatically lose. So there's back and forth. It works well with 2 versus 2, or it also works well with teams of people playing against each other. This is certainly one of the most popular games of the year, but I really also enjoy it very much so. That is... Codenames. Man, I can't even pronounce the name of that, but it really has done well. Everywhere I go, I see people playing it. So that game just missed my top 10. So those are 10 games. My number is 11 through 20. I'm sure you guys have games that might have missed your top 10 too. The top 10, those are great games, but this year was so phenomenal. Of these next 10 games that are in my top, 11 through 20, most of these also made it to my collection because I just thought they were that good. Anyhow, watch more of our 2015 coverage videos. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.